Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Morgan and this is my channel, Naturally Morgan. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about a list of mostly doable tips that I have to help enforce ethical and sustainable and waste-free living. Not completely waste-free, but trying to implement waste-free living into your life, as I am on a journey to waste-free living and taking baby steps as I go. And this has been a list that I've compiled to help me live the life I want to live. So to start off, my first big tip is a reusable water bottle. You can get cheap ones, you can get expensive ones. So this is something that is really doable for almost any budget. And it helps in the long run, because instead of buying plastic water bottles when you're out all the time, or buying a container of water to fill up at home, you have either get a water filter or just fill up your water bottles at local stores. Some places do that. We do have a Brita filter at this house. But get yourself a reusable water bottle. I use a Hydro Flask and I love it. It's in my car right now and I'm too lazy to go outside and get it. But it will keep your drinks cold, ice cold, for hours. I put water and ice in my Hydro Flask at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the next day at 11 a.m. it still had ice in it. So if you want to keep things cold for a very long time, that is a great purchase. It's expensive, but it will last you forever. You could drop it, you could bring it on hikes with you, and you don't have to worry about it having any wear and tear. Also, you can put hot items in it. I think they last up to 12 hours of keeping it really hot. I have not tried it in my Hydro Flask, but when I do, I'll tell you guys about it. You can get plastic BPA-free water bottles. I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend getting some sort of insulated water bottle, because they're usually better quality, and we don't want any more plastic on this earth, because almost every piece of plastic that we've used in the history of mankind is still on this planet. So yeah, reusable water bottles is a big thing. Please get one, because when you're out and about, you could just ask anyone, any restaurant, any coffee shop to fill up the water bottle, and they'll do it for you, and keeps you hydrated. Always have it around with you, and yeah, good tip. Next would be reducing and reusing fast fashion. So over the past few months, I have only been buying secondhand. The only thing that isn't secondhand that I've gotten recently is my Patagonia coat, which is the love of my life. And I'm such a fan of Patagonia, and my parents got it for me as a gift because I did need a winter coat. I've been using the same coat for years and years and years, and it wasn't zipping anymore. So I asked them if I could just have this as a Christmas gift, and I got it actually at a really big discount. And so refusing to buy fast fashion is a great step, because not only does fast fashion not last very long, they also make so many products that a lot of it just goes to waste, and the ethics behind these companies are usually really bad. The workers are paid minimal salaries and work for long hours. So if you aren't for the abuse of workers, don't buy fast fashion. Instead, invest in a couple quality items, or thrifting secondhand, or trading with friends. I had recently a clothing swap with a few friends and got a bunch of items, as well as shopping secondhand at local stores or thrift stores is a good option. I think I said that 3 times in 3 different ways. whatever. This is a old plaid shirt. I'm wearing pants that were secondhand. You could get really high quality items secondhand too, from things like Plato's Closet, and there's other ones. Buffalo Exchange. So if you want a little bit more pricey, by like pricey I mean like $20, it's a good option. We should also have like a counting meter on how many times I said secondhand in the past like 2 minutes. So, yeah. Next would be bringing a reusable bag with you to the mall, to the grocery store, to basically wherever. So what I do is I have 2 reusable bags that I use to go usually grocery shopping with, but then I realized you can also use them for shopping anywhere. So I always have a bag that's big enough to store little items. So if I have to go to Walgreens and pick up lotion or whatever item I would pick up at Walgreens, I could just put it in my book bag or put it in the bag that I'm carrying. But if I'm out shopping, or if I know that I may be going to a store, I'll always keep a reusable bag with me in my book bag that I usually wear everywhere. So I never have to worry about getting a plastic bag. I'll just tell them I don't need a bag, or I brought my own bag. And some places, in grocery stores like Stuart Leonard's, yeah, they will put you in for a raffle to win free stuff if they see that you brought a bag yourself. So that's really cool. And we use so many plastic bags. If you ever think about all the plastic bags that you have in that little pouch that your mom has or your grandma has, and it's just a pouch of all these plastic bags that will be used for garbage fillers and stuff like that, that's a lot. It's so much, and usually you don't use all of them, and there's usually tears in them, and usually they break when you're going from the car with your groceries to your house, because that happens a lot. So might as well just get a couple reusable bags. You could get some of them for like $1, and then other ones, if you want a certain design, is a little more expensive. But that's a really great move to always have with you. Just keep them in your car, keep them in your bag. There's now like little small ones that condense to basically fit in the palm of your hand, and then you can like roll it out and you'll have it with you. So it's really easy to carry them. Buying jarred, I'm looking at my computer to remember these tips. Buying glass jarred items instead of plastic jarred items is a good tip as well. You can get glass jarred applesauce, red sauce, or marinara sauce, or whatever sauce, vodka sauce. You can get it for peanut butter, jarred pickled things, and you can reuse them. So right up there, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm using an old jar that I had peanut butter in to drink water out of. And you can also use them to re-jar foods. So I made applesauce the other day and put it in an old applesauce container. Or you can use those jarred items and a mason jar, or a mason jar, to go and buy in bulk, which is going to lead to my next tip, which is buying items in bulk. So that means you take a mason jar or a reusable jar. You go to the store, you ask them to weigh the jar before you fill it up, and usually, I wish I had an example with me, but I don't, but on the top they'll say how much the jar weighs. You go over to a fill-up station, which is in a lot of natural food stores, and in some regular supermarkets. You go in, you do a little crank or shovel in as much as you want. You can weigh it to see about how much you want in that jar, and then you go to checkout, and then you have that jar that you use until it's finished, or you can, I guess, refill it if you want halfway through, as long as you measure before you add more. And it's a really good tool to cut back on plastics. I right now have a jar of oats, rice, chia seeds, coconut flakes, and cashews. and my goal is to have noodles. And my phone died before, but my goal is to have noodles, spices, herbs, pickled things, everything in jars, because it really is satisfying to know that all of those food items came without the weight of waste. Filling your jars up at a bulk store a store that lets you do bulk shopping is so satisfying, and it makes you feel like you're actually doing something, for the environment, as all of these tips would make you feel like you were doing something for the environment. I also think that it's very aesthetically pleasing, so just looking at all the jars and knowing that it's sustainable and looks good is just but my next tip is ditching plastic utensils and ditching the plastic toothbrush. You go to the store, you go to Walgreens, you go to Target, you go to CVS, wherever you are going to buy your toothbrush, they're almost always, I think it's like 99.9% of the time, you only see plastic toothbrushes. And the thing is, basically every single plastic toothbrush that has ever been used on the face of the earth is still on the planet, which is astronomical and disgusting. And just think about it, people usually go through at least one toothbrush, if not 2 to 3 toothbrushes every single year. That's a lot of toothbrushes that are just staying in our landfills and not being used. So what my tip is to buy a biodegradable toothbrush, like a bamboo one, and those are usually really cheap, and some places actually have subscription boxes where they will give you a new bamboo toothbrush after every couple of months, because they're not as long lasting, I believe, as your standard plastic toothbrush, but it is for the greater good, and they really aren't expensive. I think that you could get them between $1 to $5, and you could get a pack of 3. I've seen somewhere for like $7, so that will last you all year. $7 right there. And also, repurposing old toothbrushes is a good way to go. So if you have a plastic toothbrush and you don't, like I do right now, I'm getting a bamboo toothbrush hopefully for Christmas, and I will be reusing my toothbrush to clean. So you can use that for a shoe cleaner, you can use that, for maybe a mason jar cleaner after bleaching it, or whatever you do to sanitize the toothbrush. But don't know what's going on right now. It's a really good tip to have. When it comes to plastic utensils, we use so many in the society. I know, especially in the US, and especially in New York, especially if you're in New York City, plastic cutlery is used and dispensed all the time. I'm not from the city, but I've been there enough to know that this is an issue. Taking around with you reusable utensils, like metal utensils, is a good way to go. If you don't have a metal one, you can get bamboo trowel packs. So it's cutlery that you can actually, move into a compost and like put in a compost, and it's biodegradable. And that way you can just refuse plastic cutlery if you're on the go and use your utensils instead. I'm guilty of forgetting this tip sometimes, but I'm really working on doing it more and implementing that more in my life. Another tip when it comes to eating out is to try to eat at the restaurant when you can. And if you can eat at the restaurant and you do have to leave, making sure you have plastic cutlery, not plastic cutlery, reusable cutlery, and then maybe bringing your own takeout stuff to put in that's reusable, like a tin. Blinking on words here. you know what I'm saying about, like, bring like a tin box or something to put your stuff in. Why can I not think of the actual word? Tupperware. That's the word. Anyway, so no using plastic utensils, no using plastic toothbrush, maybe replacing I forgot the word again. Replacing Tupperware with tin Tupperware or reusable Tupperwares that will last you a long time. Is also if you're at a coffee shop, try to ask to have it to stay. So usually local coffee shops have that, not so much Starbucks and Dunkin', but if you ask them, hey, I would like to drink this for here, they will give you a mug to drink out of, so you're not using something that is disposable. And also some coffee shops, like there's one on Main Street, that if you need a disposable cup, they have biodegradable and compostable cups. So I'll go there if I know that I need something to go and I don't have my usual reusable coffee mug. There is a good tip for those of you who are like, I need my coffee to go all the time, I'm on the move, is if you have a reusable coffee mug, which again, it's so easy to get a portable mug. They're usually like $5. You could get them cheap. Coffee shops will give you a discount if you use them, so get on that. I know that one place will charge you like $1.50 for basically a large coffee in my portable mug, so that's a good move. So that's about it for the tips that I have for today. I'm going to be adding more as life goes on and I acquire more tips and I get better at all of this, because this is a journey and things will be tweaked and fixed and made better. So thank you for listening through this very long list that made itself into like a 20-minute video, I think. So, oh well. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you guys later.